recording this session in case there's people who aren't able to come. Want to check back in on the session later. Good morning, John. Good to see you.
Hey, what's happening?
We'll wait just a few more moments as people trickle in. All right, Sue with your granddaughter. Amazing. How old is your granddaughter?
She is almost 2.
Oh, so fun and busy. Yes, Melanie, reading a book on the porch. That sounds nice.
Looking for a place that they can call their own. I don't need much to call it a home. I'm doing just fine. If they need me, I'll be underneath the palm tree.
And I put in the chat a link to the slides. Don't need them. I'll be running them, but just in case you want to come back to them later, that's there for you. And welcome everybody. Just a few minutes for people to come in. We are recording today's session. For people who aren't able to make it or people who want to review, and adding in the chat where we'll find you this summer when not working. Alyssa will also be reading in various places around the house. Nice. I have a friend who leaves pens in weird places around the house because she has her favorite reading spots and she knows she's gonna need to underline or circle something.
And no worries, if you need me, you know I'll be with the green leaves of the palm trees.
Jessamine, good to see you. And I attempt to go to the beach any chance that I can, hence the song. I'll go ahead and get started. So hi everybody, welcome. You're here for CAN Canva. And today we'll be spending some time together to go over one of my favorite free tools, which is Canva, explaining a little bit about what it is, how it works, and also sharing with you some pre-made templates for CoE branded flyers and brochures so that you're able to make things quickly and easily that have all of our CoE colors and logos on them. So before we dive too much further, there are a few people I don't recognize on the Zoom, so welcome. Nice to meet some new faces. My name is Stephanie. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. And I work at the CoE as an EdTech and innovation coach. And I've been here for about 2 years. And prior to working at the CoE, I was a 3rd grade teacher at Bonnie Doon Elementary School. I've also taught middle school and upper elementary. But really, I just love to find ways to use technology to do things more efficiently and to make them more engaging. And so Canva is truly one of my favorite tools. So I'll be sharing that with you today. If you ever start using Canva and run into hiccups or have questions, or you want to share with me what you've made, I love to see what people make. My email is here. Again, one of those cool features of being a part of the CoE, you can just start typing Stephanie into your email box and it will find me. You can also find me on Twitter, and I'm available for appointments. So if you ever want help walking through something, my Calendly link is in my email signature. You click on that and you can schedule 30-minute appointments. I can come play with you. So today we're going to be talking about Canva, which is a program for creating really quick and easy digital content, everything from logos to brochures to flyers, even to resumes, for activities for students, calendars, basically anything that looks pretty, you can make with Canva. So today we'll be walking through how to use it, how to access your account, and like I mentioned, some templates for brochures and flyers that already are made with the CoE colors and the CoE logo, so that when you're in a rush, you can grab one of those and make something that's branded quickly and easily. The goal is to build your comfort with Canva. So one of the things I like to include in my sessions is time to play and to practice. And so today I'll be walking you through some templates, but there'll also be a chance for you to play and practice. And I appreciate everybody who has their camera on, and I also know how busy we are. So if at any point you need to turn your camera off to go grab something or to do something, that's okay too. I tend to talk kind of quickly, so please don't be shy about putting questions either in the chat or just putting a hand up or letting me know, unmuting your mic if there's a question or you need clarification along the way. I really encourage you to ask questions. So just to get a quick feel for the room, if you could put in the chat or hold up your fingers, what is your current familiarity with Canva? Are you a total newbie? You haven't started using it yet? A 1? Are you a 2? Like you've started exploring, but you're still sort of wondering how it works? A 3, you feel like you have a pretty good grasp, but are here to learn some new tips and tricks? Or a 4, you're a Canva wizard. All levels welcome. All right, thanks, Sue, Denise, Melanie, Heather, great. Okay, Alyssa. Cool. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of things that will help get us started with Canva, but also some tips and tricks that I feel like you might not have noticed if you haven't scrolled all the way down on the toolbar. So it will have something for all levels today. It's good to just sort of get a feel for the room and know where we are. John, I'm really excited to see you putting a 3 in the chat. First help John getting signed into Canva. So excited to see that he's at a 3. Okay, so start just by sort of going over quickly what Canva is, looking at some examples, then we'll have time to play, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to share some of the things that we make today. So really quickly, here is what Canva is by Canva itself. So I feel like this is a quick explainer video that really introduces the premise behind Canva and explains some of the functionality of the tool. And I see that Jason is joining us. Hi, Jason, good to see you. And Christina. Okay, so here's a quick explainer of Canva from Canva.
Design isn't just for designers, it's for everyone. Canva is the free tool that makes designing anything easy.
Canva has all my content creation needs covered. It's flexible, fun to use, and free.
With thousands of easy-to-use and professionally made templates, Canva helps you create, customize, and share your designs, all in a few clicks.
The presentations we design with Canva always impress our clients. Plus, anyone on our team can make them.
Start designing for free at canva.com.
All right, so as they said in the video, it's really just a quick and easy way to access beautiful graphic design. It's the secret that your graphic designers don't want you to know, right? Because you can quickly and easily access those templates and make really nice digital content.
Design isn't...
So I'm gonna hop into Canva just to give you a peek at some of the things that you'll see once you're in there. So I'm already logged into Canva. And when I go to my account, this is what I see as the homepage. So when I hop into Canva, my workflow is typically I'm logging in because I have something in mind that I need to make. Most frequently it's a flyer, but sometimes it's also a logo or a header for a website. And so right at the top of the Canva website, there's a place where you can search for templates of something that you'd like to make. So say, for example, I'm looking for a flyer. It's going to suggest some of the recent designs that I've looked at, but I can also just go ahead and press enter. And it's showing me some of my designs that I've already made, but I can also go back and search not owned by me. So here are some of the other designs, and I can go back here, and underneath the search bar, there's also a place where I can search some of the other templates that they have. So Canva, like Google, sort of intuitively collects the information that you've entered, and it starts to cater the content that it gives you based on your past searches. So I search a lot for presentations, for things on social media. And so it's suggesting for me that those might be some of the templates I want to get started with. But if I'm not seeing the type of template that I'm looking for, I can always click more, and you can see that they have tons of different things to get started with. So scrolling down, say I wanted to get started with an infographic, I would browse through some of their pre-existing templates, find one that I like, click on it, and then go ahead and get started. So you can see that I've got some editing tools over to the left. It's also suggesting some other templates in case this template that I picked isn't one that I liked. And then there's even more results at the bottom. So I'm going to pause here just for a second and ask you to put in the chat or to unmute and to share what are some things that you've used Canva to create before? What are some things that you've created with Canva?
Well, I was in my office before a board meeting and Ferris walked in at about 3:06 and said, I need to put the masks are required signs everywhere, like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
For Canva, those blue signs that you see when you walk into
Yes.
I designed those on the fly in a couple minutes. And thankfully I had Canva experience because the board meeting started at 4. And as you know, we like to be ready by 3:30 sharp.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thanks, Heather. That's a perfect example of how quickly and easily you can make something with Canva. And I'm seeing lots of responses in the chat for flyers, which is great. We're going to walk through that today. A welcome book for an Airbnb. Very cool, Melanie. That's awesome. I did just see the other day that Canva has added some templates for book covers, which I thought would be a great project to use with students. John also flyers, and Sue wants to create a calendar or planner. Very cool. Yes, so Canva is amazing because it's really flexible and you can do all of those things with Canva. And Jason shared that he's used Canva a lot with, I know, with the tech team to make a sort of interactive birthday cards that he shares with a member of the team. They can all write a message and then send it to the person. Yes, a calendar planner. Okay, so I am going to just really quickly address an important manner of business, which is as a member of the CoE, we all have access to Canva for EDU. And what's amazing about that is that gives us access to premium images and designs that otherwise cost. And so I want to make sure that everybody is familiar and able to log in and knows where to look on their Canva account to ensure that they're connected to that Canva for EDU. So really quickly, I'm going to walk through that step, and then I'm going to ask you all to go and make sure that you're logged into Canva. So I'm going to go back to home. And right here on the upper right-hand corner is sort of where you can access your profile. And that's where you can check to see which account you're logged into. I did start using Canva prior to working at the CoE, so you'll notice that I have one that's my personal account. But you can see that right now I have a check mark next to the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. So I'm on that account. That's the one that I work out of because that's the one that gets me all those premium images for free. But if I wanted to switch back and forth, I could click the different icons. And you'll notice that now up at the top right, that little gray circle that said SC that showed that I was logged into the Santa Cruz County Office of Education disappeared. I'm going to switch back to my Santa Cruz County Office of Education, but then I'm actually going to sign out just to model for you what it looks like if you're not already logged into Canva. So to access Canva, all you need to do is go to canva.com And if you aren't logged in, if you haven't logged in for a while, this is the page that you'll see. And to connect to your Santa Cruz CoE account, you want to make sure that your Chrome browser is logged into your Santa Cruz CoE Google account. And then you're just going to click continue with Google. It's going to ask you to choose which account. I chose my Santa Cruz CoE, and now I'm logged in and connected to the Canva edu. So I just want to make sure that everybody is able to access that, because we're going to be using some templates in the CoE account. So I'm going to, if you could just give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can access the CoE Canva account. Okay, thanks, Christina. Thanks, Heather.
And the benefit of
We're
logging.
checking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
The benefit of logging in through this account is you have all of our logos automatically available, all the CoE logos, and as well as our color palette. Because you want to kind of align to branding and color, you can automatically pull from our color palette that we got automatically uploaded. So it's seamless to create with our existing CoE logos and colors as well.
Great. And I see Melanie and Sita were able to log in. And I just want to show you a visual really quickly of what Jason's talking about in terms of accessing our logos and the palette. When you're logged in to the Santa Cruz CoE account and connected, you'll notice that we can see there's 191 team members on our team, and that we also have this area called shared with you. And so when I click on that, there's actually a folder that's shared with you called Team Templates. And this has all of the templates that you can use to get started that are already have those CoE colors, and they also have the CoE logo. In addition, you can scroll down to district and click on Santa Cruz County Office of Education, and you can see that the designs are there for you as well. And there's another thing I want to show you on the left, which you might not have accessed before, which is our brand kit. And so just like Jason said, this is a place where you can quickly and easily access all the CoE logos to add them. So if you were making something, again, like that face mask required sign, and you wanted to make sure that it had the CoE logo, you can access that under brand kit. And you can also access the CoE style guide that has more of our logos, and it has our colors and the recommended fonts. So these are just nice to know because it helps to be consistent to ensure that you really are using the colors and the fonts and the logos of the CoE. Okay, and Sue is saying that you don't seem to be in the Santa Cruz CoE site. Okay, so let's check on that really quickly. Sue, when you click up on the top right, do you see different options for your Canva account?
It says account settings. Is that what you mean?
Let me see. Oh, further, do you have any teams under account settings and get help? Do you have any teams?
Let's see. Settings. No teams.
No teams. Okay. Can you check for me if are you using Google Chrome?
Yes.
As your browser? Okay. Can you check on the top right to make sure that you're signed in to your using your CoE account by clicking on you are? Okay. And when you logged into Canva, did you click log in with Google?
Yes.
Okay. And then did it give you an option to choose your Santa Cruz CoE email?
Yes, and I did, and that's the one I'm logged in with, but it doesn't show me that I have any teams.
Okay. Do you, on the left, do you have access to the brand kit?
Oh, I guess I do. Here I am. I on the left, I see Santa Cruz County Office of Education. Sorry, I just wasn't seeing everything.
Okay, no problem. I know sometimes depending on how big your screen size is, some of the options will show up or look different. So I'm just glad to hear that you were able to log in. Okay, so what I would like to do is I'd like to walk you through getting started on a brochure or a flyer. And it seems like a lot of us have used flyers before, so I'm guessing that we might want to look at brochures, but I have a quick poll for you. And I would love you just to vote to see what would you like to walk through, getting started with a flyer or a brochure. Okay, so I've got one vote. Just go ahead and put in what you would like. Okay. So it looks like we have pretty close tie, but flyer a little bit, one more person would like to see the flyer. So I'll get started with the flyer. And if we have time, we might also walk through doing a brochure as well. And the reason I want to walk you through really is customizing and modifying a flyer is that I'm going to walk you through some of the different things that you can do with Canva that work not only in a flyer, but work with anything that you're going to be making. Okay, so I'm going to hop back over to Canva and I'm going to go back to the home screen again, just to sort of show you one more time how to navigate to the templates. So again, when you're starting a flyer, you do have some options. You could use one of the flyer templates that's available in Canva, or if you want to just go ahead and make sure that you're using one that has our colors and our logo, you can go to one of the templates that are pre-made in our brand kit. So I'm going to go ahead and access one of those pre-made templates. So I'm going to go to shared with you, team templates, and then I'm going to choose from one of those flyer options. So let's see, it looks like we have 3 options. I'm going to go ahead and choose the second one. And what I love about this is that it's allowing you to choose if you want to use the template or edit the original. So you're always going to go ahead and use the template so that you don't modify that original. You keep that one clean and you make your own copy. So use as a template. And now it's gone ahead and created my own copy of this. So one of the things about Canva is that some of the tools and sidebars look a little different than the G Suite, but once you become familiar with them, you are able to access them. So you can zoom in and out. For some reason, it likes to zoom really far out when you first get started, but if you want to zoom into your workspace so that you're able to see things a little bit better, then you use this slider tool at the bottom right. Also notice that there's a scroll bar on the right-hand side, and this particular template just has one page, but if I wanted to, I could make it more than one page by clicking the add page button. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so that we can see more clearly. And then one of the first things that I like to do is to rename the template into something that makes a little more sense rather than template. So we're going to go to File, and at the top, this is what the name of my file is right now, copy of CoE flyer template. I'm going to go ahead and call this sample flyer. And now I've renamed it. Notice that it also lists underneath the file size. So this particular flyer is only 5 by 5 by 8.5. If I wanted to, one of the nice features of Canva for EDU is that you're actually able to resize those. So notice next to file, there's a button that says resize, and it's going to recommend some suggested sizes underneath. So I could resize this to a postcard. If I wanted it to be smaller, I could resize it to 8.5 by 11. If I wanted it to be printed on standard document size. So I'm going to go ahead and click 8.5 by 11, and notice that it gives me a couple of options. I can either make a new copy that's the new size, or I can go ahead and resize the original. So that's just nice to know when you're when you've created a design. Sometimes I make flyers and then I also want to make a postcard that's easy to send out, but I don't want to redo my design. I can go ahead and make my flyer and then I can resize it as a postcard and make a new copy. So that's a really nice feature to be aware of. Another thing that you'll notice is that Canva has what's called elements. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that this is a toolbar that has sort of all the different items that you can add into your Canva item. It's sort of like adding pictures and videos like you would in a Google Doc, but in Canva, it's called elements. And so here's where you can access things like clip art. You can also access lines and shapes, different graphics. Canva does have some animated stickers, but you want to just be aware that if you're making something to print, obviously you won't be able to print that animation. They also have a really nice database of stock photos and videos, and they even have different audio that you can add to yours. So if you were making something like for a social media story, you might want to make something that had animation and audio.
So as you decide what you're going to make and how you're going to make it, you want to think about how you're going to be delivering it, what medium you're going to use. Do you want people to print this out? If so, then you don't want the animation, you don't want the audio, right? Is it just for screen for people to send in an email? Then maybe audio and video would be suffice, and the size really doesn't matter. And so those are some things you want to think about. If you're going to print it out, you're probably going to want to pick 8.5 by 11, or like as Stephanie said, you do the postcard size and you have to cut it out to size, etc. So those are some of the things as far as the output goes, you want to consider when thinking about your design from the start.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, and one of the things again that I love is Canva does a nice job of making things quick and easy. And so they always add in that search feature. So say, for example, I was not hosting a movie night, I was hosting something else, maybe a training. I could search for something like meeting, business meeting, and notice that now it's suggesting for me a bunch of different, not only sort of graphics, but also photos that I can add in. So if I wanted to replace the image that I have of this woman who's eating popcorn with something like a business meeting, all I need to do is drag and drop the image on top of the existing image. This little logo right here, the sort of graduation cap and edu, is just letting you know that this is one of those images that would be paid otherwise, but because we have Canva for edu, it's free. So I'm going to grab this from that toolbar. I'm going to drag it over. Notice that first it's trying to replace the background of my document with that photo. That's not what I want. So I'm going to keep moving it until it fills the box of the existing photo, let go. And now I've replaced that image with something else. So again, the Elements has a lot of really nice, easy to search graphics, illustrations, photos for you to add sort of that visual interest into your Canva piece. The other thing I want to share is that sometimes you might have images that you want to use that are your own images, that aren't elements that are pre-made from Canva. So to access those, you want to go to Uploads. Notice that Jason and I host a lot of things, and so Jason's Bitmoji is in my uploads. These are all things that I have uploaded and used before. But if I don't see something, like if you've never uploaded anything, this would be empty. You can go ahead and click Upload Media. And I'm not sure, are you able to see the pop-up that came up? Thanks, Jason. So basically what that did is it went ahead and prompted a list of my files on my computer. But I can also click the 3 dots on the right and I can upload items directly from my computer. I can find something on Facebook, Google Drive, Instagram, Dropbox, Google Photos. So lots of different ways for you to choose to upload something. Gonna see, I usually have a few screenshots on my computer. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a screenshot from my desktop. I'm going to drag it over. And now it's uploading that. So notice that this bar, I think it's uploading. Let me try that again. Okay, so notice as I drag and drop, it's just saying drop to upload your file. And there it is, it's uploaded that image. So that's a way that you can take your own image or file and add that into your Canva item. Great, thanks, Heather. Are there any questions about uploading your media, or is that something that you've tried to do on your own? No. Okay, if you do have questions, don't forget to put them in the chat. All right, another thing that I'd like to show you is customizing the text. So notice that I was in uploads, but I like to sort of have a clear workspace. So there's this little arrow right here that hides the toolbar so that I can go back and see the Canva item that I'm working on. So to edit the text in Canva is very, very simple. All you do is click where the text is. And now you can see that I have all of the tool options for the text. So I can change the font. I'm also able to change the size. I can change the color. Here's one of the things that I think is so cool about that. Notice that because I'm logged into my CoE account, when I clicked on the color, it's even suggesting for me, here are some of the things that are our colors for the CoE. So I could quickly and easily change the color to one of our CoE colors. Another thing that it does, which I love, is that if you have a photo or a graphic on your flyer, it pulls the colors from that photo or graphic, and it also suggests those as other colors that you might choose. That way you just are able to really quickly and easily create a flyer with all the colors matching. And I don't know why, but that just makes me incredibly happy. So it's very quick and easy to change the colors. There's even spaces where you can, I know, very fancy, Denise, where you can adjust the spacing. So you can adjust the space between the letters. You can also adjust the space between the lines. So it's good just to know that you're able to do that. And you can even go in and add fancy effects. So if you wanted to, you could put a shadow, you could make it glow, right? All these different things that you can add.
And I like the ability to arch too, and maybe you can show that in the effects text really quick stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is a great way to quickly be able to, put text in kind of a rounded shape as well. And then you can obviously have different, because this is so much text there, it rounds it all, but you can have like an arch as well if you have two text boxes instead.
Mm-hmm.
You can change the curve size so you can see that curve slider.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. It's giving me alien vibes. Okay. And Sita is saying, what if the CoE style guide is not available? I don't see it in my Canva account, even though I'm signed into my SCCOE Google account. That's a great question, Sita. So in order for you to see the style guide, usually you need to be clicked into something to edit. So you might need to click on text or something and go to the colors to access that style guide. And if it's still giving you trouble, then I can pause for a second a little bit later and we can check to make sure that you have access to that, Sita. Another thing that I want to show you is, yes, thanks, Jason, is that when you click on the text icon over here, there's also something that I like, which is it sort of suggests these different font combinations. So if you weren't starting from a template that already had the fonts in and you were just dragging and dropping text in, it just gives you some suggestions for some popular ways to style your text without you needing to click into the elements. I feel like I use this one on a lot of things. And again, it's all about time, right? So if you're Heather and you needed your sign for the masks 2 minutes ago, you're probably not going to click in and be browsing all the different text items. But if you have some time and you're playing, then it's fun just to know that these exist. Further down, maybe they don't have them anymore. They used to have things that were a little bit simpler that had just sort of matches of like, here's a cursive font that looks really good with this plain font. Okay. Another thing that I want to show you that's really fun is that you can actually remove the background on photos. And so what that enables you to do is that if you had, say, for example, a logo, and when you pulled it from the internet, it had white on it and you wanted it to be clear so that it didn't have a background on it, there's a feature in Canva that enables you to do that. So in the past, you had to have like mad Photoshop skills, right? To be able to cut around every pixel to get something with the background removed. But Canva has a way to do that really easily. So I'm going to give you an example. I know that I did this, I think for the flyer for this training. So I have this logo of Canva. I'm going to save it to my desktop, and it's actually saving with the white background around it. I'm going to drag and drop it back into my flyer. See how it has that background? Oh, I don't like that. I want it to be transparent. So I'm going to go ahead and go to edit image. And here's the background remover. So all I have to do is click on it. It's thinking. Thinking really hard about it today. And so now I have that Canva logo without the background. So it just looks a little bit cleaner, and I'm able to put that on my flyer. And I like the way that that looks a lot better. One of the things that I think is really cool is a way that I've seen other people use that background remover is actually on photos. So I'm going to replace this image with this one and say, I like the look of this, but maybe I don't want people to see that office. I want to remove the background. I can do that with a photo too. So I go to edit image, background remover. And again, it takes a little bit to sort of think about it, but now it's going to take the background away from the people. So I've seen people who have used this for flyers when they want to share who the facilitators or the speakers are for a conference. I think Crystal did this for the admin kickoff with Ken Shelton. And so now we just have these people who are transparent. So it's just another fun feature to be aware of. You'll notice that background remover isn't the only feature that you can add to photos. They have filters. They also have ways that you can sort of put it into the image of a phone. You can add different shadows. So let's click laptop and see what it does. So it's taking that picture of the people and it's automatically adding it into the image of a desktop. So if you wanted to maybe show on your flyer people accessing your content on a computer, there's lots of different ways that you can sort of lose yourself in all the filters and effects for images in Canva. It is pretty cool, Denise. Yeah, I actually don't like that one. So one of the cool things about Canva is that if you ever do something and you want to go back, it does have this really nice undo button. So I'm going to undo adding that into the filter and take that out. Okay, another thing that I want to share with you, which blew my mind when I learned this, which is very helpful for flyers, is that one of the things that we suggest, right, that's pretty standard on a flyer is that you have a link to register. Jason mentioned earlier that it's really helpful to think about how people are going to be accessing your content. And so if I link this register today, that's going to work really well if I share my flyer digitally. But if I'm having the flyer printed and hanging up, that's not going to work so well for my people who are interacting with that sample. So another thing that's really helpful to add is a QR code. QR codes on flyers are really nice because they enable someone to look at a printed flyer, hover over it, and access that information. And Canva actually has a built-in QR code maker. So just like in the past, you had to sort of go to another app or tool to remove the background of a photo, Canva's, you used to have to go to another app to create a QR code, but Canva's now embedded that as one of their tools. So say, for example, I wanted people to go to my outside the box website on my flyer. I would copy that link so that I have it. I'm going to go back to my sample flyer. And this is one of those things that I feel like you might not have noticed if you didn't scroll all the way down. But if you keep scrolling, you'll notice that there's a little item for QR code. I can click on that and it says enter URL. So I have my link copied. I'm going to paste it now and click generate QR code. And now very easily, I have the QR code that links back to my website that I can put in the flyer. In addition, I do want to show you how to link text in case you're sending things digitally. So to do that, say I want to link this as well. I just highlighted that text. I'm going to go to the 3 dots and click the link button. I'm going to copy the URL there and press enter. And now that's linked as well. So what's nice about including a QR code and linked text is that your flyer will be accessible no matter if people are trying to look at it digitally or in a printed form.
It's good practice too. Every time you have a QR code, to also put the URL below it. So if you do print it out, but people don't want to scan it and want to know where, before they scan it, what they're going to go to, is also put the URL in plain text below the QR code.
Great, so let's practice doing that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on text. I'm scrolling back up. Remember, I was browsing through all those features, and I'm going to add something that's going to be small because it's going to go under the QR code. So I'm going to click add a little bit of text, and I'm going to paste that URL. And another thing I like about Canva is that you don't have to resize text just by this. You can also resize it by clicking the edges of the boxes and dragging and dropping it. And we did. Jason and I just came back from a conference in New Orleans, and a lot of people had relied really heavily on QR codes for posters. And we noticed that people were having issues accessing them. So thanks, Jason. That's a really good tip to remember to put the URL, because I think Jason had helped us remember to put the URL, and that saved us for our session. All right, another thing that I want to show you on the flyer is that you are able to change the background. So you'll notice as I sort of move my mouse around the different places on the flyer, they are highlighted in purple so that it's showing me like which one I'm hovering over, which one I'm going to move or edit. If I want to move the background, I'm going to hover over the background and click on it, and I can actually custom color the background as well. So say I want to pick one of the CoE colors. There we go. And you can also I'm used to, sometimes they have a slider for transparency, but maybe not on the background. So you can see now we remove the background of that photo, and that looks great against our CoE color. Okay, another really important step that I want to share with you is what to do when you're finished. So how do you publish and share your item that you've created on Canva? You'll notice that at the top right, there is this button for share, just like we're familiar with in Google Docs and Google Slides. So I'm going to click on that. And there's a couple of ways to share this design. If you wanted to share it with other people to edit, you can add them here. So say I wanted to share this with Jason. It's making him an editor, and then I can send this. Jason will get an email now that's invited him to edit this flyer. That's not typically though how you're going to share a flyer, right? You're going to want to save it and then share it so that other people can view it. So I'm going to go back, and to do that, you want to scroll down to where it says download and click the right arrow, and you'll notice that there's some options. Canva defaults to sharing it as a PNG, but I recommend changing that, and here's why. A PNG is similar to a JPEG. It's just an image. And if you have any of those clickable links in your flyer, people will not be able to click on them and access them in PNG. So if you're making something like a flyer or brochure, you're going to want to click the drop-down arrow and change from PNG to PDF standard or PDF print. If you're sending something just for email, PDF standard is the way to go. If you're actually looking to print and you want something to be high quality, high resolution for printing, then you're going to want to click PDF print. Notice that Canva has added in those little hints for us so that you don't need to remember that. They have those tips and suggestions right there. I do sometimes use PNGs if I'm making a logo or an image that I want to use on other things. And let me tell you why, because they actually have this feature where you can give it a transparent background. So remember earlier when I grabbed that Canva logo from the internet, I dragged it over and I had to remove the background. Canva has an option where you could make your own logo. You can save it as a PNG and leave it transparent, and then you would have that already set up for you. I don't use that as often though. Typically for a flyer, you're going to go ahead and do PDF standard and click download. It's giving me this pop-up window to let me know that it's downloading. And then are you able to see that it popped up sort of on the bottom left of my screen? Okay, great. So then what I would do is I like to go to my drive in Google. Great. Heather's asking a question in the chat, so I'm going to pause and answer that question for a second. If she creates something like the mask required flyer and it's under our EDU account, so our team account, does everybody see it? That's a great question. Not everybody sees it unless you share it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to share it too after I share the downloading. Okay, so once I've downloaded the flyer, I actually usually like to add them to my drive. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop it into my Google Drive. You'll notice that it downloaded. I can click on it and open it, and now it's a PDF that's shared in my drive. And I can click the dots on the top right, and I can share the link to that PDF. You want to make sure that you put it so that anyone with the link can view. And I'm going to share.
And a couple of things, if you put hyperlinks within your Canva, it needs to be a PDF for it to be interactive. So typically hyperlinks do not work when they're image files. So if it's like a JPEG or PNG, the links will not work in it. So if you want the hyperlinks to work embedded into it, then it needs to be a PDF.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, it's really important to remember. And one thing that will save you if you do make a mistake and save it as a PNG is that if you make sure that you leave those URLs on your flyer, that will help too. So then that's how I would go ahead and create a flyer. I would save it from Canva, put it in my drive, and I can share from there. I do want to go over, so Heather asked sort of how do we make sure, or how could I share something so that everyone in the CoE account can see it. So I'm going to go back to, I'm laughing because I'm noticing that Jason is showing one of the features of sharing with somebody else is just like in Google Docs, you can add comments. So if Jason and I are collaborating on a flyer or a brochure for something that we're working on together, I can share it with Jason and then he can go ahead and add a comment for suggestions and revisions. And I'm going to go ahead and respond. Yes, I can. And then I'm going to resolve that comment. Okay, so for sharing with everybody, let's see. So right now it says link sharing is restricted, only people added. Notice that when I click the drop down arrow, I can make it so that anyone with the link on the web can access, or I can change it so that anyone at the Santa Cruz County Office of Education, it's default to edit, probably not what you want, Heather. I would put can view, and you could just copy the link here instead of downloading it and adding it to your drive. Is it something that you want people to be able to change or to print or to customize, or you just want them to be able to view it?
Just view it in case they want to use it at their site.
Yeah, so this would be the way that you could do that. You could also send it to them as a template so that they could customize it. So say you wanted to make it and it had the CoE logo, but you were sending it to Sequoia and maybe Sequoia wanted to add their Sequoia logo too. You can go down here to where it says template. Hang on one sec. They moved things around a little bit on this share feature. So let me see. There was a way for you to give them a link to the template.
I think if they just copy view only link and then they should be able to make a copy from there, right?
Yeah, it's just there used to be a way to like send someone a link as a template. What you can do is you could publish it into the team templates and you could put it in there. But I think what Jason said is right, that you would want to just share it with a view only link.
And then if you copy that link and if she puts that in the chat and you guys click on that chat, you guys will be able to see a view only and make a copy of it in your Canva account.
So I'm going to practice. I did just copy it. The link is in the chat. So you should be able to make a copy and then change your copy.
So once you hover over it, you should be able to hover the little pencil icon and then say edit or use template. And there'll be a little link that says use template when you click on it.
Yeah, so here I am in the link that I shared with you. And so if I go down to that pencil icon, I can use the template. And so that gets me started again. I start with this as a template, which means it's made its own copy for me, and then I can customize. I did notice when I was looking for more is that it looks like you're able to sort of also go ahead and save it directly to a folder. You can also click here to save it to Google Drive, which is super cool. So instead of having to do that extra step of downloading it, that's new. It looks like it connects to your drive as well. Okay, no problem. Thanks, Alyssa, for joining us. And with that, I did want to make sure that I saved some time for you all to sort of dig in and see if you can remember how to access those CoE templates and to practice sort of making a flyer or brochure on your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have us work for the next 25-ish minutes. So have us come back at 11:15. Because I want you to go ahead and practice some of those things that we covered, like removing the background, adding a QR code, publishing and sharing, right? And I do want to let you know that in the slides, there is actually a slide that links to all of the different things that we covered. So a YouTube tutorial for using the elements, a YouTube tutorial for text. And so I'm going to put the link to the slides in the chat one more time so that you have that. Oops, hang on one sec. And this is on slide 11, but I would like you to play around a little bit. So until 11:15, go ahead and log into Canva. And remember that to access those templates, you're going to want to go down to the Santa Cruz County Office of Education and go to templates and click on one and get started customizing. You can also, of course, browse the other templates that are available on Canva. I invite you to turn your camera and microphone off, but Jason and I are here too if you need help or want some troubleshooting. We can open up a breakout room for that.
So there are those flyer templates, as Stephanie said. So, the recommendation would, if you need to make a flyer, just click on one of those templates and you have all the content you need for a flyer. Just change the text, put a couple extra images in there, boom, done, ready to send out your flyer.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Sita, were you able to find the design color palette?
You beat me to it, Jason. I was just going to ask the same thing.
Great.
And I just opened a help breakout room. I'm going to hop in there with Melanie really quick, but if anybody else has a question or wants help, I'm going to hop into the breakout room. And Jason, I'm going to make you a co-host. Nice. Thanks, Denise, is sharing. It was nice to connect with coworkers, learn some new tools, be creative. Yes, Canva is great for that. Nice. Jessamine took some time to explore. Was there something that you learned that was new to you on Canva today, Jessamine?
The QR codes was really helpful.
Yeah, that one's a game changer for sure. All right, Melanie, too, another one for the QR codes, learning new tips. Nice. All right, well, thank you everybody so much for coming. We're going to have a repeat of this session next week, just to let you know, if you have anyone else that you think might be interested in learning some new things on Canva. I'll be posting and sharing the recording on the intranet so that you can refer back to it. And I do just want to remind you that I'm here to help, and it's really fun for me to play with Canva. So if you are making something and would like some support, please don't be shy about emailing me. I also love to see what gets made and used with Canva. And a reminder that you can always set up an appointment with me. They're in 30-minute slots. If that's not long enough, you can book back-to-back together by accessing my Calendly. And thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great, wonderful day. I keep wanting to think that today's Wednesday, but it's not. It's Thursday, which is a bonus. So I hope you all have a great Thursday, and I'll see you around.